Hey everybody, welcome to this week's live stream. I hope you're all doing great today. So we're going to be making some holiday pen blanks today. We're going to kind of be going on the dies that we did last time, but we're going to add a little bit of a twist to those. And then I have another little, I don't know, something that I wanted to try out. I've seen this technique in other blanks. I don't know how to do it correctly. We're just going to play with it. But basically, it's using translucent. And I've done this on the stream before a little bit. I think I did it on stopper or handle blanks before. But we're going to use transparent dyes and then add some opaque white. And then hopefully that will add it kind of changes things. Because once you add that white resin next to the translucent stuff, it kind of mixes together and it creates pockets of see-through areas with opaque areas. And so it's kind of a crazy, like, I don't know, it just makes some really cool looking blanks. Now, the one issue is there's going to be transparency on these. So you are going to want to probably paint the inside of the blank if you're doing a kit pen. But I think it's worth it. I think it really adds a lot of depth to the blanks. So we're going to do that. We're also going to do some dyes, and it should be pretty fun. So let's see here. Who was here first? Mike McEwen was. Nice. Nice. And we got Brian over at TBC Bushings. We got Cheryl's here. Nice. Vinny and Paul. And let's see. Kid Cooper's here. What's up, man? And Mark. Did I say Mark? I don't know if I said Mark. But anyway, we got the gang here. So if you missed last week, we finished up that pen. I don't have the blanks in front of me, but I do have the pen. So we're going to go for the overhead. Let's get these guys out of the way. Here it is. This thing turned out pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. So really happy with that. So I did list the blanks. Let's see here. Let me go back to my website. These are limited editions. And the way that we're doing it kind of the same way as those alien desert blanks. Let's see here. I'm going to trim this link a little bit. There we go. So I'll drop a link to this. So the way this is working is, let's see here, paste. There's the link. Anyway, so the way that these are going to work is this is going to be going for a week, and it started last Wednesday. So again, make sure that you're signed up to the email newsletter because those people get the first kind of notice, let's say. I did post a link on YouTube as well, but so these are going to be just for a week long, and I'm just going to make as many blanks as orders come in. So it'll be kind of, it'll probably tell you, I think there's one left from the original batch, but for more that, more orders that come in, I'm just going to make more blanks basically. So you're good to go. So get your orders in until next, let's see, I think it ends like Tuesday at like midnight kind of thing, or 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. So you got a few more days to get your order in, but if you want to get some of these cool looking blanks inspired by Mr. Cooper's fish, make sure to go and head over there. Tim's here. What's up, man? And TJ, how's it going? Let's see here. The other thing is the ornament auctions are fully underway. You only have one more day to get your bids in, okay? And the bidding has been nuts. That's all I got to say. Let's see here. I'm going to try and get you a smaller link here. So here's the link to, and all the auctions are on eBay this year, which is significantly better than the Facebook ones that they've had in the past. Those are just kind of, you don't even know what the bid is and stuff a lot of times. So eBay has been amazing, and obviously we all kind of know how the eBay auctions work, like the last minute, that's where you got to make sure you're paying attention. So I think most of these, they are staggered a little bit. So I don't know exactly, make sure to scroll through. There's a lot of ornaments. There's like 4 pages worth, 187. But yeah, so they're slightly staggered, but it's, they're all ending tomorrow. But they're not all ending at like the same minute. All right. So if you have multiple ornaments that you wanted to bid on, It's not like you need to sneak in there and only pick one or anything like that. You can kind of pick lots of them. So pretty cool. I've been on quite a few. I'm happy to see that pretty much all the ornaments have bids on them, but make sure to get your bids in, and don't feel free. Like I was like the first day that the auctions were going, I was upbidding people and doing all kinds of stuff, because the whole point is we want to raise money. So make sure to put some bids on. If you got some extra money, you want to get some ornaments, bid on these things. Everybody put in quite a bit of work for making these things, so let's make sure that we get some good money out of them. That's going to be going to St. Jude. Let's see, what was the other thing? Oh, and the prizes were awarded. So I don't know if you guys saw on last Wednesday, Turner's Warehouse announced the winners of the categories, as well as all the winners of the like raffles. So congratulations to Pam and Tim for winning my gift cards. Tim's already gone in and bought like bought a bunch of blanks with the gift card. So that's always it's exciting for vendors when you give like you sponsor something and you have like a prize. It's cool when people like get in there and like either buy the stuff with a gift card, or you see them actually make something with it or whatever. It's pretty cool. So I was excited that I sent the thing out, and like within like a few hours Tim was like, I bought some blanks. So pretty cool. And I'm sure Pam will too, because Pam's actually a customer anyway, so she just didn't get on it yet. Tim was like waiting by his computer, I think. So not this Tim, Tim Wadley. And I just want to thank everybody for doing ornaments, for bidding on stuff. It's a pretty awesome group effort, and I always, like every year, I like to help support the ornament challenge. This year though, I got to be honest, when you go through and you look at all the ornaments, like they're all really good, like all of them, even the beginner category, the kids categories. I mean, there isn't one that I'm like, yeah, I don't know, that one's not going to get many bids. Like they're all really good ornaments. So make sure to go check them out. Again, the link is up there. I don't know if I put the link. I need to change. So for anybody that's watching back after the show, I'll go in and make sure to get the link to that. I'm not sure if I put it in there or not, in the show notes. So sweet. Very cool. One other thing that I wanted to mention, we're going to be using my Gatling molds today. And so if you want to, let me, hold on a minute. I got to go get links now. There's that one. So I'm going to use both of the versions. I sell a red one, and then Turner's Warehouse sells the like translucent kind of thing. So I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second here. I didn't pre-plan to get all these links ready. Should have done that. All right. Okay, so we got that one. Let me go back over to here. So again, we're going to do vertical pours today using the Gatling molds, I like to call them. So again, I have the red ones right now. Eventually, I'm gonna be converting to the ones that I sell are going to be the translucent style. And the reason for that, and this isn't like some kind of conspiracy, but right now Turner's Warehouse is the only place that you can get the translucent ones. Originally, and you're probably gonna laugh, I had them. I did just do it because this is just what, if you just mix the silicone up, this is what it looks like, the stuff that I use. But I was having trouble getting a decent picture, so I'm like, well, I can just add some red dye to it, and all my other molds are red too. So I added red. Well, then I realized that you can actually backlight these things. So I got a pretty powerful light. And if you backlight it, you can actually see your resin. And now it's not like it's see-through, like totally transparent, but it's good enough where you can mark if you wanted to do like thirds or half and half, or whatever it is, and you wanted to put some color of resin for only a little bit. You just need to go down there and mark the bottom, because there is a little excess. It's not like it goes all the way to the bottom. So this is the bottom of the holes, and then you can measure up and put specific amounts. So as long as you backlight it, you can kind of see the resin filling up and hit lines. I didn't realize that when I first, did the red ones, but I have, I think, 3 of them on hand. So if that's something that you don't really care about, then you can just go to my website and order the red ones. But if you want to get one of these and you want the translucent, head over to Turner's Warehouse. They're exclusive. They have them exclusively at Turner's Warehouse right now. And then once I run out of the red ones, I'm going to switch over to. So there's a link to Turner's Warehouse if you want to pick up a Gatling mold. And if you want the red ones, here's a link to them on my website. All right, so there's all the promotional stuff. And what was, let's see here. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that invoice, Mr. Cooper. I got something special planned. All right, so first things first. So I told you we're going to do a couple different things here. First thing I want to do is we're going to go for solid colors. All right, and so Turner's Warehouse sells pigments, like the pasty, whatever you want to call these. These are pigment-based dyes, or colorants, let's just say, pigment. So they're going to make, clear resin opaque. Most of them should be pretty opaque. You also have the Divine Pigments. This is a super old bottle. They look different now. I just don't have the updated one in this color. So here's the updated bottles from Divine Pigments. And you can get these at Turner's Warehouse as well. But we're going to be using a little bit of, I want to see which color is the best, which green. I'm kind of thinking this Maker Select one is a little bit closer to what I want. The alternative would be in Divine Pigments, the lightest color is this key lime, which I don't know. That's not really, it'd be nice and bright. It's a good color. I just don't know if this is the kind of Christmas green that I want, So I think we're going to go with this one. We'll see what that looks like. There's also Jade or Harmony Green, which is a decent green from Divine. And one thing I could do is maybe like mix some lighter green with this if it's a little too dark. But I think we're just going to go with this Maker Select one, and then probably just the Maker Select Red. I don't know. There's also Brick Red from Divine. And then there's also Berry Red, but the problem is I don't think I have any more Berry Red. That's a little bit of a lighter red. Maybe, do I? Nope, that's pink. Yeah. I need to stock up a little bit more. So anyway, I think we're just going to use these Maker Select ones. I think they'll be good. And we don't have to mess around with mixing dyes and all that kind of stuff. The problem is I just don't know. I haven't mixed a lot of the Divine Pigments together trying to get specific colors, so it would probably take me quite a while to mess around with that. And I don't think we need to, because that's not really the point. Now, the thing that I wanted to change a little bit is you can actually add some of this macro sparkle to your opaque pigments, and it'll be kind of sparkly a little bit. It'll change the look of it. Now, it's not going to be, obviously this is opaque, so it's not going to be exactly the same thing as like, just adding like a transparent dye and then adding mica, but it is pretty cool. So let's go for that. We're going to add a little bit of that, and then I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Do you want to see? So we're just going to go for a 3-color mix, red, green, and white. This macro sparkle, like I said, I'm going to add it to the dyes first, so that's not necessarily the white that we're going to use, but if you want, we can either use macro sparkle completely as the white, or we could go for a white dye. So we're going to put a poll up. I think I can do a poll real quick. Start a poll. Macro or solid is what we're going to call it. So for the white, like I said, hopefully that's not confusing. So, we're going to add a little bit of macro sparkle to the green and to the red, but we also want to have a white. So do you want the macro or do you want the solid for the third color in the swirl? That's what the poll is saying. There we go. We started the poll. Yeah, special. Got something special planned. Something. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. You're not going to miss out on it or anything. That I'll guarantee. We'll do a little bit of polling. Man, so Jake's been doing lots of stuff with 3D printing. That's pretty cool. I don't know if you guys saw it today. He made like 1,000 blanks on the stream today. It was crazy. I don't know how he does it. All right, so it looks like Macro's kind of taking the lead here. One thing we can do also is add a little bit of the dye to the Macro sparkle to make it a little bit more opaque, because this stuff is, the Macro sparkle is like pretty chunky. It's more like glitter, really, I would almost call it. So we can add a little bit, but like I said, we can either just go for a solid or we can go for a Macro. I love this Macro sparkle stuff. I don't know if that's really, it's probably blown out a little bit, but it's pretty cool. And it really is like snow to me. I don't know. I love it. You made about the same number on Patreon? Wow. Well, that's good. He's a little bit more on top of things. Plus he has an assistant. I mean, really. Come on. I think I stuck my water bottle in resin or something. Where did that come from? Oh, it's sticky over here. That's why. Oh, guess what I get to use? Amazing resin remover. Ha! Look at that. We're going to amazingly remove the resin. What do you guys think about that? This stuff really is pretty awesome. If you don't want to get, you know, like acetone or alcohol on your fingers. Look at that. Stuff works great. Like I said, I still like using acetone if there's like a giant spill or something. It just works a little bit quicker. It's not, you know, this stuff is a little, it leaves your fingers a little bit kind of greasy, but I love this stuff for if you just get a little bit of sticky on your fingers or like on handles or something like that. It works fabulous because I don't want to have to go wash my hands at the front. So I'm going to end the poll because it looks like we got Macro here. Look at that. Hey, Steve Hogg's here. How's it going? Oh, so's Mark. Nice. Sweet. People are just popping in left and right. Who is it? TJ. I think I said hi to TJ. Oh, and Copper Owl too. People are just sneaking in. I saw Tim Costello came in. I don't want to miss anyone. All right. It was a bonus. Yeah, this stuff is good. I'm telling you. Like I said, for anybody that doesn't know, if you get, you know, if you get liquid resin on your hands or, you know, skin or something like that, you really don't want to take acetone or denatured alcohol or any solvent of any kind and wipe it off, because what that's going to do is it's going to break down the you know, the resin. Basically, it's going to thin it out, and then it can actually like really sink into your skin, which is not what you don't want. A bunch of chemicals, you know. Not only do you really not really want acetone or you know, denatured alcohol soaking into your skin, but you really don't want the resin stuff. That's why we wear gloves, because it's a chemical, and you just don't want that stuff on your skin or soaking into it. So stay away. If you get it on your fingers, stay away from solvents of any kind. You know, this stuff though is not going to break it down like that. It's good for getting it off your fingers. If you do, and if you don't have this stuff and you do get it on your fingers, just go to the sink and soap and water and wash your hands that way. It'll be a lot better than, like I said, the solvents, because it just, that stuff's going to just like break down, thin out your resin, which on the other hand, you know, you can also use that technique. So knowing that, all right, this is the other thing, is you can also use it to kind of, I'm going to air quote, you can use it to kind of stabilize wood. So like you could take some epoxy, thin it out with, you know, acetone or alcohol, and then let it kind of soak into wood, and then it'll cure. But you're breaking it into, you're thinning it out basically, so it can kind of, you know, sink into the pores of the wood, and do a bunch of layers like that. So you got to understand how all this stuff works, because, you know, depending on what you're doing, you may need to utilize that knowledge. You know, if you don't want to do like a full stabilization of something, or you got like a really big piece of wood, let's say you're doing like, Scott Grove uses this for cutting boards. Actually, he thins out epoxy and lets it soak into the cutting board, and that way, you know, once it cures, like it's stabilized in a sense, and there's nowhere for like the bacteria and the water and all that stuff to soak into the wood cutting board, which is kind of a cool way of doing it. You know, you're kind of like basically stabilizing it in a sense. It's not as good as you know, doing the full cactus juice stabilizing, but you know, if you're dealing with something really big, it's not like you're going to stabilize it, you know, under vacuum and all that stuff anyway. So it helps you kind of seal off stuff and do all that. But again, you don't want it in your skin, basically. Repeat what was in the bottle. So this stuff is amazing resin remover from Alumilite. They just came out with it like a couple months ago. And actually, they send me, you know, new products and stuff to kind of test out, and they send it and they're like, don't tell anyone until like this date. And the thing was, I did it one day early on the stream, because I got stuff on my fingers, and I was like, I'm not waiting for this product launch. I'm like, check this guy out, guys. The problem for me is I'd have to walk all the way to the front. I don't have running water back here, so I would have had to leave the stream, go wash my hands and do all this stuff. And I was like, they got a new product. This is exactly what I wanted it for. So amazing resin remover. It's a good one. It's good to have on hand, and it'll clean up liquid resin. It's not going to dissolve hardened, you know, resin or anything like that. Liquid only, but it's a game changer. And you know, you can wipe off, you know, sometimes you got sticky fingers, and then you're you know, putting your pressure pot together, and you get it all over the nuts, or you know, whatever the handles, and you can just take that stuff and wipe off handles or your countertop or whatever, and it works well. Now, like I was saying earlier, if I have a big spill, like I got to clean a lot of stuff up, I'm still probably going to pull out acetone for that, as long as it's not on my skin. For big messes, it works a little bit quicker. It's a little bit more aggressive, and kind of cleans things up faster, and and acetone dries faster as well. So I still use chemicals sometimes, but for skin or just handles or quick things like that, I'll pull out that resin remover. It's awesome stuff. All right, so let's see here. Yeah, and actually, I don't think Turner's Warehouse has it yet. I haven't talked to Chad, but I would imagine they're going to probably start carrying it, because it's really good stuff. But I can give you a link. It's not an affiliate link. Their affiliate program got all jacked up, and I just kind of gave up on it. Just don't care. So here's a link on the Alumilite website. I technically am an affiliate. It's just getting the links and doing all that stuff is a hassle. So I just generally don't worry about it. The one thing you can do is to get 10% off, you can use my code ZAC10. So ZAC 10. Just enter that when you're checking out, and you save 10%. So that's pretty good. Okay, so let's quit talking about resin remover and let's start making some stuff. What do you guys think? I'm ready. So again, holiday blanks. The first one we're going to do is opaque, like a pigment-based colorant. We're going to add macro sparkle, macro pearl. And I like, it doesn't matter. I think for the most part, I don't think there's any difference. Oh, I'm on the wrong camera. I don't think there's really any difference between macro sparkle brands. I like the P-Town, or I don't know, whatever. I use the P-Town subby one. I'm pretty sure Eye Candy's got something. I don't know which one it's called. But they should have something similar to this. And then like pretty much everyone's got like a macro pearl is what they'll call it a lot of times, like Jacquard or Pearl X. They just call it macro pearl. So, but it's pretty cool. So you can add this to your opaque dyes, and it'll add a little bit of, it's a little bit subtle, you know, but it'll change. Instead of just being like a solid color, it'll add a little bit of fun to it. Okay, so let's get a cup. I'm gonna get a brand new cup out. Where did all the rest of my cups go? Jeez. Okay, so we're on the overhead. You guys can see. I'm gonna zero that out. I need to get my little book of notes out here. My pens are all jacked up. They ran out of battery, but I think one of them works. Wish the other one worked though. Okay, so let's see here. Today is December 2nd. Oh my goodness. We're doing Christmas colors, whatever. So number 1, we're doing macro plus opaque. What is what we're going to call this? So we're going to mix up 400, that's 200 times 2, and then we're going to split it into 3 cups. So we're going red, white, and green. So we're doing red, let's see, 3, 4. We're just going to split it 3 ways. We're looking at about 133 or so grams in each one of these colors. We're going to do red. We're going to use, so in Maker's Select is Turner's Warehouse brand. My camera's upside down. So they sell these guys on their website. The one thing that I don't like is these giant jars. Chad just sent these jars out, but I think I'm going to go to their website really quickly and see. They were supposed to be getting, shoot. There it is. Maker Select Liquid Pigments. I guess they still don't have the smaller bottles. So I'm not a super huge fan of the, like, there's no dropper, you know, so like you got to just like get it out of there somehow. Don't love that right now, but I think they are going to be coming out with bottles that are going to be similar to these ones. Something like that where you can just drip it, you know. So for now, you just add it with a stick or something like that. Just scoop it out. But the nice thing is they're not the same colors as you know, the Divine Pigments. They're unique, so you can kind of get a slightly different shade, let's say. And so you don't need a whole lot. Let's see, we're just going to add like 133. I don't know. I'm going to start with 0.5 grams with the green and the red. And then we're going to add, we'll have to kind of see, I haven't done this for a little while, how much macro pearl we're going to need. I think we'll start with 133. We're going to start with like a teaspoon. We're going to start with a half teaspoon. See where that gets us. We might double that down though. Half teaspoon of macro. Okay. And then for the white, we're going to go with macro. I think I'm going to add just a little bit of the white dye just to make it a little bit more opaque, but it's still going to be the macro effect. So white, we're going to go with we'll go with like, I don't know, 0.4 grams, 0.3 grams of dye, white dye plus, in this case, I'm going to go with a full teaspoon of the macro. So let's see how this goes. I haven't done a whole lot of this, so we're experimenting. See what happens a little bit here. All right, so zeroing out the scale. We're going to be using Alumilite Clear Slow. I don't have the labels. The way that I usually do things, I buy the 10-gallon kits or 80-pound, you know, whichever way you want to look at it, but it's like 10 gallons basically, the big carboys, and then I just fill up jugs. But eventually the jugs get a little bit funky, and I just get new jugs from Alumilite. For some reason, I don't know why they don't send me one with a label. It would be, I would rather have that, but you know, whatever. I think they send them to me for free, so can't complain, I guess. So let's see here. Okay, not missing anything. So let's go to the overhead. There we go. So 200 grams of part A. Again, Alumilite clear slow. And that's really kind of my favorite resin for doing color swirl stuff. When you get into the epoxies that have a long working time, you got to sit and wait for quite a while. So that's fine, you know, if you have the time to do that. But Alumilite clear slow, you got 12 minutes of working time and everything locks in so much better, especially if you're doing like glitters and stuff. It'll lock things in a lot faster. Even if you wait till kind of like the right timing for some of those like 30-minute working time resins like the epoxies. The problem is it still isn't, it doesn't like harden, like lock in like right away after you put it in the pressure pot, so things can kind of move around. And it just, the 12 minutes is like perfect because it hardens after, you know, once you get past that, you know, 12 to 15 minute mark, like it's hardened. And so things don't really move around like color swirls or glitters and things like that. And it turns excellent too, so lots of good reasons to use it. Plus you can pull it out of the pressure pot in a few hours and move on. You're ready to go. All right, here we go. Getting errors from YouTube. It's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Why not? That's the question. Eventually, I'm going to get my Mac Mini, or I guess it's a Mac Studio, I guess. And we're going to be switching to a different computer and setup and all that stuff, but it's kind of an undertaking to do all that. And things aren't totally broken with my current system, but I think that if I switch, it'll be a lot better. Someday. And just for a quick update on the leg, it's getting better day by day, but I don't know. I'm really looking forward to Tuesday. Next Tuesday, I get the MRI done, and then Thursday, I get the results. So I want to know, I don't know what's wrong with it. Now, as it's been healing and I'm kind of trying to, you know, walk on it and like things hurt here and there or things are weird. Now I'm kind of not entirely certain what exactly happened. It's tough to tell when things are swollen and whatever. They don't necessarily work correctly, you know, but I don't know. So hopefully whatever is wrong with it hopefully won't require surgery and also will heal. It's going to be kind of a balancing act because I want to be able to snowboard and stuff. I don't, you know, so if it's a question of I'm not going to be able to do anything, but if I don't get surgery, then I'm probably going to get surgery because I haven't done anything for like 2 weeks, and it's annoying. We got to find out what's wrong with it first. All right, so I already shook these up. You want to shake up these opaque pigments, and let's see here. We're going to go with 0.5 grams of the red. Stuff's kind of thick, so you gotta just kind of bloop it. Okay, so we went with points. We went a little over. It's no big deal. Not a big deal at all. Yeah, that's pretty transparent, guys. That's not going to work. Okay. Let's pull out the brick red from Divine. I think it's a little bit more opaque. That doesn't feel like I got anything in there. We need to add a little bit to this. Hopefully this will increase the opacity a little bit. Because we want it opaque, but we are going to add some macro pearl, which will add a little bit of opacity to it, but that was pretty not opaque. I don't know. Maybe I didn't stir this up enough. Because it should be opaque. I don't know. Sometimes you got to change things on the fly, you know? If it ain't working. I'm going to add a little bit more of this brick red from Divine. That thing's dead. Okay, so that ought to be good. I have no clue how much I actually put in there at this point, but that's a pretty nice looking red. Maybe a little bit on the dark side, but the thing is, when we add this macro, it's going to lighten things a little bit. So if you're going to do this, you know, you're adding white to the mixture, and it's going to lighten the color, the hue a little bit. All right, so we'll put that maker select one back. I don't know. I'm a little suspect of that one. A little suspicious there. A little bit see-through. Now let's add our ½ teaspoon of macro and let's see what this looks like. And we may need to add a little bit more of the red if this gets too light, if it's like pink or something like that. I don't think that's going to happen, but look at that. I think we could add a little bit more of the dye. So I do have another brick red here. I think it's brand new, possibly. Okay. It is open, though, I think. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit more red because it is a little bit white in here. See, there's like a little bit of white speckle, so you got to kind of play with it until you kind of dial it into the right look that you're going for. So we want a little bit more dye. We just want a little bit of that effect. Now, ½ teaspoon might have been too much, actually. That might also be part of the problem. It's going to look fine. It's not necessarily exactly what I was going for, but I probably could have been good with ¼ teaspoon of the macro sparkle. Okay, so we got that. We're going to do we're going to start with ¼ teaspoon with the green and just see how that goes with the macro. You could add just regular, like a white pearl as well. That'll work. But the macro sparkle, it's a bigger chunk of color, so it'll give you a slightly different result than just a pearl. Ooh, look at that green. I'm going to put 1 gram of this in. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Let's see here. Ooh. Yeah, that one's a little thin still too. All right. Tried with the maker select ones, but they're a little bit thin. These are pretty old too, so yeah, I don't know. I'm not blaming everything on the brand necessarily, but we're going to add a little bit of this, not jade. I want the Harmony green. Where'd that go? We're going to add a little bit of this Harmony green. Hopefully that'll make it a little bit more opaque. A little bit on the dark side right there. Ooh. Did make it a little opaque, but it's darker than I really want. So I'm going to add a little bit more of this, and then we're going to add actually a little bit of like yellow, because it's kind of on the cool side, like blue. bluer side of green. So I'm actually just going to add a few drops of yellow, just the regular translucent yellow dye, just to kind of bring it more into like a lighter kind of green, more of that kind of Kelly green. There we go. Now we're looking pretty good. Maybe a little bit more of this yellow. So you can always kind of play around with your colors and adjust them on the fly a little bit. There we go. That's looking a little bit more Christmassy. All right, and we're going to go for a 1/4 teaspoon of macro this time and see how that looks. Ooh, yeah. See, that was probably, 1/4 teaspoon is probably plenty. But it just adds a little bit of that kind of sparkle into your opaque pigments, which is kind of fun, especially for something like a Christmassy themed thing. A little heavy, like I said, on this, but it's fine. It's sparkly, is what we were going for. Probably could have gone with a 1/4 teaspoon. So make sure to, mark down if in notes, which I'm going to do too. You can start a little bit lighter probably on the macro and then kind of sneak up, see how it looks after like a 1/4 teaspoon or whatever. Depends on how much resin and all that stuff and how much dye you put in, but I'm going to make a note here. I still want to go for a full teaspoon though, in our white, because it's mostly just going to be this macro. And if you don't add enough of it, or and I am going to add some dye, but if you don't do enough, then it's going to be really see-through. And I don't really want that for pen blanks. At least not these ones. Okay, so we'll put this green away. Put this one away. All right, so we got a teaspoon of macro in here, and I'll show you what that looks like. So that's pretty good. And it's not particularly opaque or see-through. However, when you turn it down, there's going to be areas, especially if you have brass behind it, there's going to be some areas where you're going to see through. So we're going to add a little bit of white dye to this, 0.3 grams. And that'll just kind of make it a little bit more opaque, but not kill the effect, And you're still probably going to have to paint the tube and do all that stuff just to make sure, because I don't know what these are going to exactly look like in the end. All right, let me stop and look at the chat, see what's going on. Kim's here. Cool. Oh, and Kev too. Oh, Kev asked that question. Kev was here. All right. Okay, so we're shooting for a temperature of about 92. That's been a pretty decent number. Oh, we're already past that. I was talking and messing around with my macro. We're good though. It's not too late. 95 would have been a pretty decent number too, which is what we're probably about at. And then I'm just going to do my standard, pour a little bit, and we're just going to do a normal color swirl with these. Ooh, these are going to look good. I think we got those colors like this green we really got good. I really like this green for these. Yep. And there's different ways that you can pour. For anybody that's familiar with, you know, like the fountain pen, custom pen making world, Jonathan Brooks is pretty much like the best blank maker out there, kind of more specific for that realm. Oftentimes he'll do 2 colors, pour both at the same time. I got to be honest, I would have to practice that a lot because I just basically make a giant mess and it's super uneven. You know, the amounts that end up. So it would take me a lot of practice to do that. So I just do it one at a time. It's much easier for me. You got to be a little bit ambidextrous to be able to do that. Or practice, you know, a little bit more than I have been. Oh man, these are going to look great. Look at that. Do you see that? That looks cool. Sweet. These are better than I even thought. I mean, I didn't necessarily have like a picture in my head. It had kind of more of an idea rather than like, what is it actually going to look like? And I'm pretty happy with this. Oh, let's add a little red in there. Just now. Go back to the white. Start there. So when you're figuring out what temperature to pour at, or, you know, when to pour, you want to get it to the point, you want to wait long enough to where it's not going to color bleed. But if you wait too long, especially if you're doing multiple rounds where I'm doing all these different pours one at a time, this is the big disadvantage to doing it like this, is it's going to keep, you know, the resin in your cup is going to keep getting thicker and thicker, and it may get to the point where you've kind of waited too long. We're not anywhere near that point with these, but keep that in mind when you're picking a color, or picking your time when you're pouring it. You kind of need to balance that a little bit. And so we're going to come back, we're going to do a regular stick here. We're going to swirl this up. I'm just twisting it while I go down and up. It's not entirely necessary to use a stick like this, but it definitely will give you better swirling in your blanks. But in some cases, that may not be really what you want to do. So just kind of test it out, see which one you like best, you know. I don't know if I did this one or not yet. One might have got double swirled, I don't know. I think these are going to be pretty wicked. I'm digging this. I'll have to do some more messing around with the opaque with the macro, because it's a pretty cool way to go. You know, you get that opaque color, but you still get kind of like a little bit of like sort of a pearl kind of thing. You know, it's not really pearl, it's more like sparkle. It's pretty cool. So we're ready to rock here, so we'll get it in the pressure pot. Go to this intro cam, put it in the California Air Tools pot. Again, this pot, so it's a 2.5 gallon, and it is great. I mean, literally you take it out of the box and it's ready to go. The only one thing, I mean, everything's on it, everything. The only thing you do have to do is you just need to set the regulator. That takes literally 2 seconds. So make sure to check out that video on my channel to see more about this. I was super excited when they came out with it. California Air Tools had a 5 gallon, like ready to go casting model pot for a while, but I don't really like 5 gallon pots because the lid's a lot heavier, they're more expensive, it's just more cumbersome. And when they finally came out with a 2.5 gallon size, I was like, it's about time, guys. So it gives you something, especially if most of what you're doing is stoppers, handles, pen blanks. smaller types of projects, then there's just no reason to get the 5-gallon pot, you know. It just costs more. I think the ultimate setup for most casters is to have a 2.5 and a 5, to get both of them, because for most projects you don't need that extra size, you know. But if you're doing a bowl or something big, obviously, or just a lot of blanks, then obviously the 5-gallon is going to be the way to go. So if you can afford it, that's what I would recommend. That way you're using kind of a smaller, easier to deal with, you know, lid and all that kind of stuff on kind of a day-to-day basis. And then when you need the big guns, then you pull out the 5-gallon. But if you can only get one, get the 5 if you do plan to do larger things, because it'll do everything. It's just, you know, the trade-off is going to be it's heavier lid and stuff, a little bit more cumbersome. But I mean, it's not that big of a deal, especially if your budget only allows one. The 5-gallon's awesome. In fact, I actually want to replace, I have a CA Technologies 5-gallon, and I actually want to get the California Air Tools one eventually instead, because I like that one a little bit better, actually. All right, so let's see here. Christmas, oh yeah, I got to get the Christmas Fun Cup going here, so hold on a minute. I want to get these things cleaned off real quick. So, and again, you know, I usually use acetone to clean off sticks and all that kind of stuff. You can use the resin remover as well for that kind of stuff, but I think that solvents are a smart way to go for quick, easy cleanups like that, because they work really well. But again, when it comes to skin, totally different game. Pretty thick. Maybe I shouldn't have. Kind of need a stick to clear this stuff out. Oh, you guys aren't seeing what I'm doing. Hold on. Nothing super exciting to see here. It's pretty thick. Okay. Not a whole lot left of this white. There it goes. Now it's coming out. There we go. Fun Cup. Actually, that was one of the blanks that Tim Wadley got with the gift certificate. Was one of the Happy Fun Cup blanks, or the current one that's up that was available. So that's fun. I can't wait to see what he does. That looks pretty good. Doesn't matter that much, but I think that'll be pretty cool in there. Okay, so for the second one, we're going to try a technique that I saw done by, again, Jonathan Brooks. I think this is I don't know how he does it, and I'm not trying to really copy what he does, but the idea, though, is pretty cool, and I want to try it out on these Christmas ones. So you're using transparent resin, so we're going to just use the Alumilite translucent red, and these are both the Alumilite colors, but they're see-through, right? So we're going to use those, but we're also going to use white, and we could even add some macro to this. I don't think I want to add macro to these ones, though. We'll add a little bit to this white, but basically what we're doing is you're going to get like this transparent resin, but then the white goes in there and it creates areas that are translucent as well as opaque, and so it creates a bunch of different shades of color, and as well as you get depth in the see-through areas, and then you got the color swirl. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Again, I don't exactly know how he does it, but that's kind of the idea of his what are they called? the primary manipulation blanks, that's kind of the way that he does that. Now I have no clue. He's using like every color of the rainbow for those, and so his process is probably nothing like what I'm doing. But the general idea is you can add the opaque stuff, and this is separate cups, right? So a cup of white and a cup of translucent red, and you're pouring it together, and you get some really interesting looking colors. So I want to show you. I'm going to show you guys a sample of something done that way. Do I have a couple? I was kind of playing around with this. I want to learn, you know, ways to do this. But so this blank, and I didn't polish it or anything like that, but this was done with, I want to say, red and yellow. Is that what I did? There might have been orange, but I was using translucent colors, and then the only thing that creates the opacity is just white resin. All right, so it creates a whole bunch of different shades of color throughout the thing. So if you do multiple colors, then that white is going to kind of blend those a little bit together, and you get some really interesting looking blanks. So this is what it looks like in blank form. But it's a pretty cool little thing. When I kind of learned about it, he mentioned it in a video that he did. Is that the right one? I guess actually, here's another one. I actually polished this one. And I think this was just, this might have just been red with the white. I mean, it's crazy. There's lots of different like shades of color in this, and it's literally, I'm pretty sure it was just two colors, the red transparent dye plus the white. And I mean, there's yellows, there's oranges, red obviously, white. I mean, this is pretty nuts for a pretty simple way of doing it. And again, you can, you know, doing it one color at a time is going to probably yield slightly different results than if you poured both those colors at the same time. It just kind of goes into the mold a little bit differently. So big thank you to Jonathan Brooks for kind of, he has a video on YouTube kind of showing a little bit of how he does his pours, and so it's pretty cool, like when people share information and give you, you know, new ideas of ways to do stuff. It's pretty helpful. Am I going to sell those blanks? So they're probably, it depends on what's going on. They're probably going to be going into the subscription boxes next month. It's a tough one because I already sent some holiday kind of stuff with the subscription boxes, but I was kind of thinking that these were going to be pretty cool, and I figured I'm going to send them. So, but there's only 6 subscription boxes, so whatever's left over is going to be probably up for grabs in the limited runs section. And I think what I'm going to do is, depending, as long as this second one doesn't turn out terrible, because I'm pretty sure that first batch was, I think those are going to be pretty good pen blanks. But what I think I'm going to do is probably split them. So as long as this second one is not like terrible, as long as it looks good, this second pour that we do, it'll probably be like half and half of those go into the subscription boxes, and then, you know, whatever's left over will go up on the website. Yeah, so let's do it. Let's do this. Oh, nice. That's awesome, Steve. So Steve turned a fun cup into a pen or pencil cup. They're so fun. It's like such a ridiculously silly, you know, project kind of. They're very simple. It goes very quick, but I mean, I don't know. Like I said, very simple project. And to do just a pencil jar, I mean, all you have to do is have I guess you don't have to have a chuck, but it sure makes things a lot easier. You just, you know, mount it. I did a innie, like a mortise style. So expansion mode on the chuck. And then all you do is, you know, drill it. Use a Forstner bit, hollow out like kind of the bulk in the middle. And then you just use the best tool I think on the planet for hollowing is the #1 hollower from Easy Wood Tools. And it's just fun. You just sit there and have at it, just hollow it out, do, you know, whatever kind of angles and stuff you want on there. And you got a cup that works well, you know, all using leftover resin, which I think is pretty awesome. Now, the other thing that you can do with those fun cut blanks is like a lidded box. That would be pretty awesome. Eventually I want to do, I just kind of have to get time. But eventually I want to use one of these the like threaded brass things. And the way these things work, do I have one that's out? Yeah. The way these work is they just screw together. And so you would mount, you know, you drill a hole and mount one in the lid, one in the body or whatever of the jar. And so they're stuck into those things, and then they just, you never have to worry about threads getting kind of jacked up or anything like that. And you can do it for larger items. You know, we have the taps and dies. For you to buy a tap that's this big is going to cost a fortune. You can hand tap threads. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that. I did a video, I think, or a stream. Not sure if it was a video or a stream. Sam Angelo, the Wyoming woodturner, he introduced me to this hand chasing threads. It's pretty awesome, which means with this, I can put threads on anything at all. You don't need like a tap or anything. You got your pitch, you know, that's what you're buying. And it's cool, you know, the thing's spinning and you just do it by hand. Like you're just creating those grooves, the threads, while it spins. And it's a pretty cool process. I can't really, it's hard to explain. You got to kind of see it in action. But I was able to do it pretty well. Let's see, do I have one of my, oh, I made a mallet. That's right. I don't know what happened to that mallet. So there's lots of different ways you can put threads in things. But it worked well enough. I don't think this is what I made. I made something, and I'm pretty sure there's like an actual video. And I don't know what I'm doing, and it threads fine. Like it wasn't that hard to pick up and figure out how to do. But I mean, this is tight, and you could make like a mallet or like a jar, urn, whatever. So it's pretty cool. That tool that I just showed you guys, I got that at Carter and Sons. They sell this, and it wasn't that expensive, I don't think. What do they call this? Carter and Sons. I don't know exactly what they call it. I'm going to go to their website and find a link. I really like Carter and Son tools. Pretty good stuff. Let's see if I can find this thing. Mahoney. It's a Mike Mahoney tool. There they are. So there's a 12 TPI and a 16. The 12 is new. It's a little bit coarser thread. So it's a pretty cool tool. So it's about $100. I mean, it's not cheap, but still, I think kind of worth it. I'm just going to link to the new 12 TPI one on their website. Yeah, Carter and Sons makes really good stuff. I have obviously this tool, but I have another one that I really like of theirs is their 16 or I mean 1/16 parting tool. So it's super thin, but it's also still it's not like flimsy, you know, because the way that they designed it. So it's a pretty cool little parting tool, and their handles are really nice. I think I have. Oh, there it is. I also ended up going with their 1/8 inch parting tool, but their handles are really nice, aluminum. Only thing that I don't love about the aluminum handles is they're like it's only 69 degrees in the shop right now, and it's cold in your hand, you know, a little bit cold. So compared to wood, if your shop is cold, I don't know, you may not love the aluminum handles, but and if it's 150 degrees in your shop, it might be kind of hot. I don't know. Oh, you're yeah. Well, if you use stabilized wood, I mean that'll work fine. You can put threads, but definitely, you know, your resins are gonna take threads excellent. But there's a lot of woods that are, you know, very easily, because like Sam does a lot of, he does that on wood mostly. I sent him some stuff when I saw him doing the hand chasing. I was like, I actually sent him a bunch of blanks because I was like, I want to see this with resin. And so he's got some videos. So if you want to learn how to do it, go and watch his videos. I don't know what I'm doing really. I mean, I kind of figured it out. You know, it wasn't that hard, but Sam's been doing it. Like, he's excellent. He's an expert at doing that. So Wyoming Wood Turner, if you guys aren't following him on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. He does all kinds of really great videos. I've learned a lot of Wood Turner. I've learned a lot of stuff from him on his channel. Let's drop a link here. Yeah, super glue. That's true. So if you can kind of somehow, you know, stiffen the fibers up a little bit, which stabilized wood would work pretty well for that. But yeah, super glue definitely do the same thing. What I was talking about, thinning out epoxy, that would also be another area where that could come in handy, where you can kind of let that stuff penetrate in, soak, and then harden up, and maybe do a few layers of that, and it should probably, that would be a good way to use that too. All right, so let's go to the overhead cam. Yeah, exotic woods. Yep. Yeah, I don't think I would recommend doing it with pine. It's probably not going to be your best bet. All right. And I mean, the exotics anyway, they kind of look, you know, if you're going to be hand threading stuff like little boxes, a lot of times your exotics are a little bit more what people go for anyway, just because they're darker and, you know, whatever. Okay, so number 2, we're going to do, let's see here. I don't know what to call this. Transparent. Opaque, I don't know. So again, this mold holds 400 grams, so 200 times 2. And we're just, again, going to go for, this time we're going to split it up a little bit differently. So I'm going to do a little bit less white, I think, on this one. And again, I don't have no clue how Jonathan Brooks actually does his blanks or anything like that. So I'm just trying to figure stuff out. But these couple that I did, that I showed you examples of, I'm going to have to think about this a little bit, but I basically did, like, you know, like equal amounts of resin, or, you know, colors. And I think that it would maybe be a little bit cooler to do a little less white, you know, not very small amounts of white. You still need to have enough white to kind of actually create the interesting colors and mix around with stuff. But I don't know that it needs to be equal amounts as the red and green. So let's see here. Let's do, let's do 150 grams for the green and the red, and 100 grams for the white. All right, let's try that out. So I'm gonna go for let's go with 1.5 grams of the dyes. And again, these are the translucent, the Alumilite translucent colors. This is just a weird bottle, but it's the green one. The red and green. Now this green is a little bit, it's the same issue that we had with the last round, where it's like more on the bluer end of the scale of green. So we're actually going to go with, that's not what I want. 20. We're going to mix a little bit of yellow in with that. I don't know. Let's do, oops, not that. And in fact, even the red is a little bit on the blue side. So we're going to go for, we're going to do a little bit of a finagling here. So we're going to go with 1 gram of green, 0.5 grams yellow. See how that goes. Same 1 gram of red, 0.5 grams yellow. I want to bring I want to bring the red more into the lighter, brighter kind of color red. So you can add a little yellow to that. And then for the white, we're going to go with a 1.5 grams for that also. Plus we're going to add, let's do I'm going to add an 1/8 teaspoon of the macro and see where that gets us. See how that looks. Okay, so we got the game plan. An influencer or a pusher? I don't know. I'm just a dude. That's all I know. Just a dude. I'm gonna clean out a cup here real quick. There we go. Get out of there. Now another thing that would be kind of cool, that I don't think we're going to do today, but another thing that you could do is add a little bit of play around with the interference green and red. That could be kind of an interesting thing. Now I got to think about this for a minute. I think we're just going to stick with this, see how it turns out. But that would be pretty cool too, I think. Oh, that's sticky. I was like, how did my hands get sticky? Because there's resin everywhere. Let's just wipe this off a little bit here. There we go. Okay, twist my arm. We're going to add, so we're going to go with 140, 130, 80. We're going to switch it up. We're going to actually add a little bit of the interference as well. So we're going to go with 20, where are we at here? 260. I'm calling an audible, guys. Calling an audible, 340. So we got 60 grams. So 30 and 30. We're going to go interference red, interference green. The only issue is we don't have like a dark color that's going to really pop the interference colors, but I think it'll be kind of cool anyway. And we'll do like an 1/8 teaspoon of each of those. Okay. 30 grams. Get our cups ready. We're at 130. Yeah, that's fine. 130. 80. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. We are ready. Let's do this. Sorry, just reading the comments. All right, 200. The part A. Again, we're using Alumilite Clear Slow resin. So we got our part A. And our part B. Whoa, almost dumped it. Actually, I like to switch these things out. The problem that I have is there's sticky resin all over the place on this little mat that I was using. And in the past, you place your cup down, pick it up, and it's sticky. And I've actually totally dumped a cup over because it was stuck to the little mat. All right, so we need 130 in this cup. $130, we need 80 in this one. Okay, 30 in each one of these. All right, now I'm gonna go for, this one's gonna be the green. So we're gonna go 1 gram of green. Probably don't even need that much, but that's cool. One gram green, 0.5 grams yellow. See how that turned out. We're going to need to add more yellow. We're going to go to 1 gram. So this is like a 1-to-1 ratio. Still not really my favorite. We're going to go to a 2-to-1. All right, that's okay. I don't know. Could have gone even higher, I think, but that's all right. And then we need some red. We'll try it again. 1 gram of red. Let's try 0.5 grams yellow. Can always add more if we need to. That's pretty good. Might be actually a little bit, that's a little orange. A little bit on the orange side. We're going to add 0.5 grams of red again. That's better. Okay, we got our red, we got our green, we need some white. We're going to go for 1 gram of white. Plus an 1/8 teaspoon of macro. Macro is getting a lot of love today. And then we'll see how that looks once we mix it up. I think that's going to be enough sparkle in there. Yeah, that should be okay. I just want to add a little bit of effect. Nothing over the top, you know? Okay, so that's good. And then we need our interference red and interference green. And we're going to do another 1/8 teaspoon of those. So let's see here. Wipe that off. We're good on the macro. On the dyes. All right, here we go. This should be kind of fun. I don't know how this is going to go. We're doing a lot of different cool stuff in these ones, so I hope that it all turns out okay. Macro makes everything better. It's pretty true. David, how's it going? Welcome in. Welcome in. All right, then we got our little interference guys. So the interference colors, generally darker backgrounds make these things kind of pop out. But you do get kind of that like aura effect. So it's kind of pearly whitish, like off-white, with like this kind of red tint. Now if you put like black, streaks or something like that around it, it'll really make that red like pop out at you. I don't think I don't have any blanks. So, and that's how you get the abalone effect and all that kind of stuff. Add that black and they pop. And then that's also how I do those dark energy blanks. I don't have any out here, fortunately. Yeah, I do. Sorta. So this is with like a dark background. It really makes those colors pop. But if you don't add that dark color to it, then it just kind of looks like kind of a tinted pearl. All right, so we got our colors. We're going to shoot for like 92 again. We might be past that already. I was kind of playing around with stuff, calling audibles. All right, so we're about 87 degrees. And all these are going to be like different temperatures probably because they're different amounts in the cups. So that's like at 86 or so. One thing, if you got a really small amount of resin, you can like if I only had like 20 grams or something like less than that in these guys, I might put them on my toaster oven. That's you know, on and warm right now. 87. Okay. I really want that to be yellower. So I'm adding more yellow. There is an upper limit to how much dye you can add. I might be getting close at this point with this, but I think that's not too bad. Okay. 92 is what we're shooting for here. About 88 on that one. And I'm going to just say, as long as one of these cups hits 92, we're good. That's at 90 almost. $89. Make sure that we don't have any mica blobs. Give these a good stir. All right. We're almost there, guys. 91 on that one. $92. All right, so this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to go red. And then white, because we want to get, the whole point is we want this white to interact with this red. And kind of make it a little bit more opaque. And then I'm going to go for some of this interference red. And then we're going to go with green. White. Interference green. All right, so you guys know there's the formula. Back to red. We could have also kind of split this like half and half, like kind of dump all the green on the bottom and then all the red on the top, but oh, hold on a minute. Which one are we at? Red, I think. Then green. And some white. And some interference. Might kind of run out of white. I don't know. This will be the last round of white. I might get a little bit more out of this. Nice. And then green. And we'll finish off with some red. And a little bit more of the interference red down here. Not much left there. And I think we're going to go for the swirl action. Kind of an important part, I think, of this technique. To really kind of mix these up. That way you get that white. And I think even in this case, I think the interference powders are probably, if they mix with the transparent dyes, will probably also give you, you know, a little bit more opacity. I think the white dye, though, is really what really pops that. Because you can add, you know, one way to get an opaque dye color is to just add, you know, if you're using the Alumilite translucent dyes, you can just add white to it and it'll make it opaque. So, you know, if you mix resin, white resin in with translucent red resin, it'll give you areas that are opaque as well. It kind of works the same way. But this is going to give you little pockets of transparent, or at least translucent areas in the blank as well. Now the one thing is mixing green and red together, if there's any bleed or any kind of weird stuff, I don't know how that's going to turn out in these blanks. So these ones are a little bit more on the, I'm a little bit more skeptical than I was with the other colors. But we'll just have to kind of wait and see what we, you know, how they look. Now they kind of, this is looking pretty cool to me so far. So I'm not particularly worried or anything, but just to let you know, the results of any kind of mixing together of, you know, this red and this green, if there's kind of a bleed effect, it may not look particularly amazing. And we can pull the colored wheel out and kind of have it look, but I think that's kind of going to make it like brown or something equally not so awesome. So we'll have to kind of see how these things turn out, but I think they're going to be kind of cool. I don't know. All right, so I got it in the pressure pot, and then we'll get our Happy Fun Cup going. We got a little bit more, got some green in here. We're kind of out of everything else. I mean, a little bit of red. I don't really know that was really worth it. That's all we get. Not a lot in the Fun Cup, guys. Actually, interference colors, once you understand how they work, they're pretty cool. Because I used to be like, I don't really get this. This just doesn't really look that great. But like I was saying, if you add the dark background to it, it's a totally different game at that point. And they really are pretty cool. So it just kind of depends. And in this case, so another way that the interference colors can be really cool is if you put them next to, so if we were just doing a bunch of micas, we did green mica. If you mix in interference powder with a green mica, then you get like different like shades. It creates like another dimension kind of thing to your blank. So it can add a lot of interest. It just kind of needs to be done, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to say done right, but it has to kind of work with the other colors that are in there, let's say. Sometimes it can just look kind of boring. But I'll tell you what, my pearl blanks, all it is those three mixed together and they look awesome. It's just, you know, the interference colors mixed together. and I have a video on that. But it kind of looks like an aurora, or like kind of like a mother of pearl kind of look. It's pretty cool. So they're useful. You just have to kind of understand like what's the deal with these things. How do these things work? And experiment, you know, with putting it with different like colors and types of things. See what effects you get out of it. All right, I'm just cleaning up my sticks here. And we'll wrap things up. Get this thing out of the way. Stick my fingers in it. All right, here we go. He'll take a Christmas pen. So I think, I don't know, we'll have to see. Obviously, we'll have to wait till these things get pulled out. The first batch, I think those are going to be like killer. Those are going to be a really good pen blank. These ones that we just did, I'm in the middle. Okay, so as long as the colors didn't like bleed together, so I wanted to pull out the color wheel and show you. It's good to have a color wheel. Where the heck is my color wheel? Okay, so I wanted to show you this. So there's green and red, right? The problem is, let's see here, where's the green? So if you add red to green, you get brown or something. So, you know, if we get bleed, if those kind of mix together, we may have areas that are just kind of, you know, it may look kind of yucky. But if that didn't happen, if we didn't get like kind of like a bleed or anything like that, if that didn't merge together and create brown anywhere, which I don't know, you know, we'll have to see. If that's not the case, then these are going to be really good too, I think. So I'm pretty excited. We'll have to kind of see. And then I'll have to figure out if I'm going to have time to make a pen or not. Probably, but I don't know. We'll have to kind of see what's happening. Bare minimum, I will probably, I don't think that I need to turn down and like see what's going on in the first batch. They're fine. those were really good. I could just, the colors were like, I nailed the colors, you know, like the hue, the shade, tone, whatever. Those turned out good, and then the macro throughout all three colors, I think they're going to be pretty sweet. But I'm very excited about these, because the second one, because I've never done that. I've done a few tests where I tried like the white with the transparent stuff, but I've never put interference powder in there. So, or you know, like an interference color. So those three, I think it's going to be pretty interesting. We'll have to see how this works. Do I have a link for a color wheel? No, you can just get them on Amazon. You know, I think that's where I got mine. Or like if you have an art store, they definitely have them there. I can pull it up though. Color wheel. Try and find a cheap one. There's mine. Let's see here. Color wheel. There's one for $5. $5 plus Prime. I'll get you a link here. Yeah, color wheels are very, very helpful. Come on, work here. Work with me. You know, I think a lot of people understand, like, okay, you know, yellow and blue makes green and all that kind of stuff, but sometimes it kind of helps to have something that you can look at, you know, and especially like your secondary colors and stuff like that. You're like, okay, well, if I had blue green, you know, what is blue gonna do to that, or you know, or white? It's pretty handy. Like it'll help you kind of understand, like, okay, what do I need to do to get, you know, in the right area? Now, this is not going to tell you how many drops or grams or, you know, whatever of one color to add to another one. That's the one problem with the types of dyes and things, like the colorants that we're using. there are no formulas, really. I don't know of anything where you can go and look up and say, oh, well, if I do like a 5-to-1 yellow to blue, or, whatever, I'm going to get the exact color that I want. Like, you're going to have to play with stuff, quite a bit. But the more that you do, the less work it's going to be down the road. Like, you're going to understand based on your experience, like, okay, I just need to do a little bit of this, especially depending on which types of dyes you're using. The Alumilite dyes I have a lot more familiarity with, because all of my team color blanks are using those. The problem that I have, though, is for my team color blanks, I use Alumilite white, which adds a component of white into it automatically, because that resin, when you mix part A and part B, it just turns stark white, like solid white. So it's kind of tough. Like, so none of my dye recipes for the team colors work with clear resins, because it's a totally different thing. But you have all the Divine Pigments, you got the Maker Select ones, and there's some other brands out there as well, where you just kind of need to mix things together to kind of get close. I think that's what we're shooting for, is use the color wheel to figure out, like, what direction do I need to go, and then just try to sneak up on it and get as close as possible. And then the final minor tweaks and things, that's the tough part. Like, to try and get it like dead on, if you're really trying to match a color, it can take a while. But anyway, so Steve, what's going to happen is, depending on if the second batch, if I deem them okay, they're not like terrible for some reason, which I'm probably going to have to waste one, just to see. Like, I'll probably pull these tomorrow and actually do, where I do like the sample thing. I don't want to wait a week to find out, so I think I'm just gonna have to burn one of those. If I have to make more, that's fine too. But I'll just turn something down, so that I can kind of get an idea of what's happening, turn it into something like this. It just takes 2 minutes on the lathe. So I'll probably find out what's going on in the next day or two on that second batch. And as long as those are okay, which it's like a 50-50 right now. Part of me is like, I don't know, that could have gone really bad. Part of me is like, that could be like the coolest blanks on the planet too. So I don't know. But as long as they're good, I'm probably going to split them, half and half, and put them in next month's subscription boxes. So the rest of those will go up on my website. But I have to kind of wait and see what exactly is going on with these things. So anyway, I'll let you know what's happening. But it was pretty fun. Like I said, I'm really, really stoked about the first batch for sure. I mean, just watching them, I think that's one of the funnest things about doing these pours. You just kind of dump it around the rim of this, but you have those colors kind of in between hanging out, and I was looking at that and I was like, oh, that's gonna look pretty awesome. So I get excited about pen blanks. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining the fun today. Don't forget the ornament challenge is tomorrow. It's ending tomorrow. All right, so make sure to head over there. Here's a link to the Turner's Warehouse eBay page, and make sure to bid on these ornaments. There's some really, really, really fabulous ornaments. I'm in a bidding war right now on one of let's see. So you guys know, oh shoot, I can't, what is his screen name? Homer Lex. He made like the coolest bell ever, and I'm in like a bidding war on that one, because I love that bell, and it also comes with a pen on top of it. So I'm like, I'm in a bidding war on that one. So hopefully we'll see if I can get that. I don't know if I'll be there for like the last minute tomorrow. But like, honestly, even if you really don't have the money to bid on these things or whatever, head over to that page and just scroll through, because I mean, top to bottom, they're all really, really good. Even the folks that were like, beginner, because there's all those different categories, right? There's like the youth category, the beginners, and all this stuff. And we all have different, levels of how, whatever, how good we are at turning or whatever. They're all fabulous. Like, they're all excellent ornaments. Honestly, there's none that I was like, yeah, that person probably just started or anything like that. They're all really cool. So make sure to go and check those out and bid on them if you can. Let's get some good money coming in. And my two are up there. And it says, if you haven't gone over to the page, it says like handmade resin ornament by Zach Higgins. So you can kind of tell who made all these things based on the listings and the names of them. So go check those things out. Again, the Gatling molds, the vertical silicone molds for pen blanks, are on my website. So I'll just drop a link there. Hey, there's home relay. Yep, there's. I want that bell. That thing is so awesome. So nobody else bid on it. No, everybody bid on it because it's a really, really awesome one. So there's if you want the red version of the Gatling molds, those are available on my website. If you want the white or semi-translucent ones, those are available on Turner's Warehouse. Get you a link to that. And I'll drop, once we finish up here, I'm going to drop these links into the show notes or whatever, so you don't have to look for the chat window for anybody watching later. Oh, you want to see the special pen? All right, one more time. So this is the one that we finished last week. Pretty happy with this. I did a pretty good job on it. Pretty good job. One more time. There it is. Yeah. Really happy with how the colors went together on that. I think we picked pretty close colors to the fish. There it is, though. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. So I got something planned for this, so don't worry. Don't worry. Mr. Cooper. I got something in the works here. So anyway, I know it comes with a pen too. I really love the bell though. I was just like, oh, when I saw that, I actually, like, the first day of bidding, I saw that and I was like, oh, I totally want to, I was really impressed with it, so I wanted to bid it up anyway. Because the first day I went in and started bidding all over the place just to just to raise the numbers. But that one I was like, oh, sweet. So me and somebody else, I think it's like one of your friends or something like that, somebody that knows you, we were like in a bidding war, and the folks at Turner's Warehouse knew. I don't know if it's someone there, or like, I don't know. They knew the other person that I was bidding it. This is the first day, and it went above 100 because we were like bidding each other. It was pretty funny. So hopefully that one will even go higher. We'll see. So again, tomorrow, like probably around like, they're all kind of staggered slightly like when they end, but basically tomorrow most of these are showing like 1 day in like 3 hours or 4 hours, 2 hours. So you're looking at like maybe 3 p.m. tomorrow is when you really want to make sure that you're getting your final bids in, because they're going to be ending. But awesome job, guys, with all the ornaments. I just want to thank everybody for who made an ornament, all the sponsors of prizes, and obviously to Turner's Warehouse. And if you guys get a chance, Amy put a ton of work into this. Like these types of events are not like, oh, we're just going to do a fun charity thing. Like, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of time, and Amy pretty much did most of it. So if you guys get a chance, either on Instagram or in the comments, she does most of their social media stuff. So if you leave a comment, it's going to be her who sees it. So make sure to thank her for setting this up, because it's going to raise a good amount of money. It was done extremely well this year. The eBay thing is so much better than Facebook and all that stuff. But I mean, just think about just listing 187 things I don't like doing like 5 sets of pen blanks like in one day. Like it's going to take hours to do that just on my website. They had to take pictures, they had to list and put all the information and get all this stuff together. So it's quite a bit of work. Plus they had, judges come in and do all that. So make sure to thank them for setting it up because they did a really awesome job. Let's see here. Colors lined up. Can't tell. Oh, we're different size. Well, yeah. I mean, actually, on that one, I will say that for the most part, if you're just doing color swirl stuff, you can usually get away with, like, it doesn't have to be all lined up and perfect. This was actually, the cap and the body was actually 2 totally different blanks. I couldn't get, because they're only 5.5-inch long blanks. I couldn't get the full thing out. So usually I try to go for matching the cap and the body. And then I'll even sometimes do the, lining it all up. The section, these 2 are fully lined up and from the same blank, actually. So I did actually get the section lined up. And you can kind of see certain areas are actually like lined up the way that they should be. But it's really tough, and I wouldn't get too caught up on it because even if you do line everything up, sometimes it doesn't even really look that way. And a lot of times if you don't really worry too much about it, you don't even adjust or anything like that, like they still look fine with just color swirls. If you've got very specific like big blobs or lines of things going on, at that point you might want to actually take the time to get it lined up properly and all that. But a lot of times just color swirl, you're okay without putting all that extra time into lining stuff up. But anyway, guys, I hope you had fun watching this one. I had a great time. Before I sign off, let me get a drink. I got all excited. So anyway, thanks for joining the fun today. I had a blast making these things. I really can't wait to see how these things turn out. As long as both batches turned out good, some of these are going to be available in the limited run section on my website, but it'll be like probably a week from now or something like that. Make sure to sign up for my email newsletter. I always say this, but that I really try hard to, unless I totally forget or something messes up, that goes out every week. So like that's where the updates and all that kind of stuff, any new blanks or whatever. And I also do discounts on like new blanks that I list and stuff like that. These aren't necessarily limited runs, usually aren't, but like a new blank drop that I come up with, it's going to be in my store. Email newsletter folks get discounts on stuff that I don't share on like Instagram or YouTube or anything. So make sure to sign up for email so that you know when they're available. But as long as we got good blanks out of both these pots, there's going to be some extras. If this one sucks, if the second batch is like, then we're really not going to have any extra blanks because these are all going to go to the subscription box folks. So, and I think next year I'm going to be changing up the subscription box thing. I really want to focus more on like pen blanks only, and the subscription box right now comes with. I switch between like a handle size blank and a stopper. And I don't know, I'm not as enthused personally about making those types of blanks. And I'd like to get more people able to do the subscription box thing. I've cut it at 6 right now because I just don't want to add more people because I knew I was going to change it. But I think we're going to drop it to like 2 pen blanks and that's it. So it'll be a lot cheaper. So be looking for that. If anybody's like interested in that, maybe shoot me an email or like shoot me a message DM on Instagram if that's something that you guys are interested in, or leave a comment on this video after the fact, just to kind of get a gauge of who might be interested in that. Right now it's 3 pen blanks and like a stopper or a handle depending on the month, and I think I want to just maybe move it to just like 2 pen blanks because I think more people might be interested or be able to afford it or whatever. So let me know. Yeah, right now I have them, but I'm not offering any more right now because, like I said, I kind of wanted to transition to just pen blanks. It'll just allow me to be able to do more. It gets kind of difficult. The other issue that I'm having is, we have to do stuff on the stream, obviously, that's new and fun. And then I also every month have to come up with 3 new pen blanks if we didn't, make something cool on the stream. And then also a handle. And so it just like month after month, it gets a little bit difficult coming up with, and I want to make good ones. I don't want to just be like, oh, whatever, here's some colors, So making only 2 might make things a little bit easier to make sure that we're getting some really cool ideas. And I can spread it out to open it up for more people too. So anyway, guys, that's about it. Like I said, let me know in the comments if that might be something, if you are interested in, maybe a couple pen blanks a month kind of subscription thing. And I think that's about it. So go bid on some ornaments, and I think that's it. So next week we'll see. Hopefully I'll be able to turn one of these guys. I'd really be interested if these look good. I think I might turn one of the second batch up because I'm pretty sure that the first batch, those are all going to be pretty awesome. I don't know that we need to see what they look like turned. So we'll have to see how it goes though. I'll post a short demolding these guys either tomorrow or Monday, and that should be it. So anyway, guys, I hope you have a great rest of the evening or afternoon, wherever you're at. And we'll be back here next week, noon Pacific time, and we'll turn one of these guys up, hopefully. If we don't turn one of these guys, I'll have to think about what we're doing. If it doesn't end up working out to turn a pen next week, we'll do something else. But I'm hoping that we can turn a pen, so it should be cool. So anyway, guys, have a great evening. Thanks for watching the stream, and I'll see you guys on the next one.